to your midweek wake up with Bliss Beauty by Brandy. Today, I'll put the tutorial for this at the very end of the video. We're doing a review on the new Naked by Urban Decay Wild West palette. Literally just came out. I got it probably 3-4 days ago. When you open the palette, these are the gorgeous, let me see if I can block some of that mirror. These are the gorgeous colors. And of course they're all like country western, Wild West themed. Like all Urban Decay palettes, it does come with a dual-ended brush. This one has a clear handle. I did use the brush in the tutorial, so you'll see that. So we have a really good mixture of mattes, shimmers, some chunky glitter. One of these is a rather chunky glitter. I did use it. Two beautiful like teal colors. One's more of a turquoise teal. One is a turquoise, or one is more of an actual teal. But a lovely mix of warm and cool tone colors. So this is a great like everyday palette, night palette, day palette, whatever you would need to make any kind of look, whether you prefer more cool tones or more warm tones. So I'm going to swatch these for you so you can see what they all look like. I am, like, right now I'm light to medium. I know I've mentioned in previous videos that I tan, but I'm not super dark. I don't do it often. So I'm going to swatch these on the underside of my arm so you can see them. And I do have a new ring light, so the lighting hopefully looks a lot better. So I'm going to show these, and I'll also show them as close as I can. I'll probably zoom in. The first color we're going to do is Standoff. It's a matte shade. And I will say, after using this formula, they're very buttery. Now I will say Standoff is very, very light. It's right here, you can barely see it on my skin color. This is like a great brow bone highlight. You can maybe even use it in your crease if you just want to diffuse out colors. But there's Standoff. Next is Spur. This I used in my crease to blend out the colors. Spur is like this really pretty like marigold shade. Not super dark, not too light. Blends out beautifully with a brush. And it also blended my colors beautifully. The next shade is Nudie. Probably the only non-Western named color. And that's probably just Urban Decay's way of sticking with the naked theme. Gotta have something naked in there. So that's, let's see. I did not think the rest of the thing through. Here we go. There's Nudie right there. So I will say, if you're very pale skinned, these colors are going to look super, super dark. If you're my skin color, like I said, Standoff is very light. I'd probably use it as a brow highlight. Now this next shade is a really pretty gold glitter, and it's called Hold'em. And that's Hold'em. Sorry, I'm trying to get a good angle on my arm here for you guys. Maybe I'll just do the top of my arm, because the underside of my wrist is not helping. Alright, now I've replaced the swatches on the back of my arm. And that's what they look like. Next is Cowboy Rick. This one was really glittery. Like when I used it with the brush, it flaked everywhere. Like, I still have remnants of it on my desk. And there's Cowboy Rick. I mean, it's a beautiful color. I have it on my brow bone and on my inner corner. And a little bit under my eye right there. But it flaked everywhere. Gorgeous color though. It's probably my only complaint. This is a bit of a dusty palette, so if you do not like, these colors are super pigmented, super rich, very buttery when they go on. But if you are, I don't want to say anal retentive, but if you don't like a lot of powderiness to your eyeshadows, this palette might annoy you. I don't mind because it's no big deal for me to like sweep it off with my hand or with a clean brush. Next color is Laredo, which is this one right here. It's a really pretty muted brown tone. Like, it's almost like a brownish with a little bit of mauve mixed in. So for me, it's a color that I could work either way. I could put cool tones with it, I could put warm tones with it, either which way. But that's Laredo. Next one, this you'll probably see in the video because I was telling my boyfriend that I have found my favorite eyeshadow color ever. For the longest time, my favorite color was the Bon Fresco from the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. This one is Bud. And when I tell you, it is what I have on my eyes right now. This is gorgeous teal turquoise shimmer. And I swear, I mean, I don't know if my light is just that blown out. Let me see if I can turn it down some. Is that a little better? There we go. Yeah, you can see it a little bit better. I'm trying to get it farther enough down my wrist, or down my arm. That color right there, I have that on the inner third of my eyes. And let me tell you, I did not use a setting spray on my brush before I put it on. And you will see that in the video, in the later part of this video, rather. I can't speak today. I was blown away. Now, I will say with the shimmers, it did take a couple of strokes before I could get it picked up. I don't know if it's just that's the way it's pressed and you just gotta loosen it up a little. The matte shades, I didn't have that issue, but the Bud, I was kind of disappointed at first, but then after about the third or fourth stroke, like try to pick it up on my brush, it really came up on my brush. So do be warned that it might take a couple of strokes with your brush to get it onto the bristles before you can apply it. So those might not be a one and done, like dab it and go. You might have to dip a few times before you can get it where you want it. This color is Rustler. And then Rustler is right there. This is really pretty. It's like a really like, it almost looks like a rust, like a metallic coppery rust shade in the pan. It's this one right here. I'm trying to show you all. My angles are way off. It's a beautiful color. I didn't use that one today. But yeah, it's a very pretty color. I can't wait to use more of the colors in this palette. When I saw this palette online and I got it in person, I knew that when I first wore this as a trial, I definitely wanted to what's the word I'm saying? I definitely wanted to use those teal colors because they very much sparked my interest. That's it for that arm. Sorry, I feel like I'm about to sneeze. Ooh, weird faces. Alright, I'm gonna go in on this arm. For the rest of the colors, there's 4 colors left. The next one is Ghost Town, which is very much a rust color. Like this red brick rust color. If I can just go with the program here on getting this in near the right angle, but yeah. That is Ghost Town. Next is Whiskey, which I will say this is like a whiskey-ish color, whiskey, cognac. It's just a really pretty rich brown. It's definitely not like a warm brown like a chocolate. It's very much a cool toned brown. So there's Whiskey. Next one is Tex. These last two colors I used on my eyes. This one is Tex. This one is also my favorite. It is just this gorgeous. Sorry about that, guys. The battery in my camera died, so the last color, I don't know how much you heard about it, but the second to last color is this one, which is Tex. I swear the angles on this camera are terrible, but this one is Tex. I used it in my crease and all over my lid before I laid down Bud, which is my new favorite color. It is just the most gorgeous teal shade I have ever used. It is not patchy at all. It blends beautifully. I only used Spur in my crease just so it blended out, just so colors blend out in my crease really evenly. They don't get patchy. But I put Tex all over the lid and the crease, and I didn't put anything on my lid beneath it, and it blended beautifully. It was not patchy. It didn't flake. I think at one point you'll see in the video that I brushed off some eyeshadow. I just caked on so much of Bud on my bristle brush that some of it had flaked off, but that wasn't from like blending it or anything. It just kind of tapped off my brush. It didn't leave any shimmer or anything anywhere. And then last but not least, which is what's irritating about the video and the camera dying, is I only had two colors left. This one is Pony Up. Oop, got a little too close to text, but it's this really pretty charcoal gray color. This is probably meant, this and Tex are probably meant to be the two darkest colors in the palette. They didn't put a black, they put this charcoal gray. It blends beautifully just like everything else. That's a common thread with all of these shades. This is probably the first Urban Decay palette I've had in a long while where all of the shades performed amazingly. Now, like I said, I'm about to show you my palette, and this is just for me dipping my fingers in. I think I'm flashed the palette after I used some of the colors. This is just for me. You'll probably see some fallout here in a second. This is just for me dipping my fingers in to do swatches for you guys. So like I said, if you don't like that kind of quality in your eyeshadows, this will probably irritate you. However, like I said, these colors performed beautifully. They were super buttery, super silky, blended gorgeously. We're not streaky, we're not patchy. I have no problems with this palette. I might be replacing my Coastal Scents palette with using this daily, just because I love this turquoise color, this teal color. Then again, this isn't an everyday, and I'd have to wear black almost every day, or a lot of neutrals, and I do have quite a few colors. But this palette is absolutely gorgeous. This is a great palette for, I would say, everybody, regardless of the skin tone, because these colors showed up amazingly. I would say one day maybe Derek will be a fair player and let us use his arm as a swatch guy, because he is darker, a lot darker than me. But I feel like this palette would perform on all skin tones. This works for somebody who prefers warm tones but occasionally dabbles in cool tones, or vice versa, somebody who prefers cool tone colors and dabbles in some warm tones. It's got everything from beautiful golds, a really pretty pearlescent neutral shimmer. It's not even like a pearly pink or anything, it's just neutral. If you want to play with color, the teal, Bud and Tex are absolutely gorgeous. Everything is a really nice neutral. These are shades that maybe one or two of them I have in other palettes, but I don't have all of these colors in other palettes. And they just work so beautifully together. So all in all, for me, this palette is a 10 out of 10. Be on the lookout, I'll probably use this in more tutorials. as well as maybe pictures that I post on my Instagram that I'll have linked down below. But yeah, this is just an all-around gorgeous palette. The packaging is beautiful. I love the rainbow snake print. Wasn't sure if I got that close enough for you all to see. All around, just gorgeous palette. Gorgeous, well worth the money. Very little goes a long way. I made the mistake, did dip into text twice and then try to put it on my eyes. Very, very pigmented. Really only needed the one tap. So, there's that. So let me know what you all think. If you all tried this, interested in trying it, I'll have it linked down below where you can purchase it. I believe it is online only right now. I don't think any physical stores have it in stock yet. I got mine off of Sephora. Sephora has it online. I think Ulta is about to get it online in about a week or so, but none of the stores have it physically in stock yet. So I'm just gonna put that back there so I don't forget. That was today's tutorial, which is a tutorial and a swatch review on all these gorgeous colors. So there's both arms as best as I can twist myself. So have a great rest of your week. This was your midweek wake up with Bliss Beauty by Brandy. Bye. Hey guys, here's a tutorial portion of the video of the new Urban Decay Wild West palette. Here are all the colors yet again, because I did film this portion first. We're going to go in with Spur, and we're just putting this in the crease just to help other colors blend. Like I said earlier, these colors are really nice and smooth, nice and creamy and buttery, and they blend amazingly to perfection. I swear I can talk. So as I said, we're going to blend this in, and this is Spur, so it's really pretty light mustardy shade. I'm just going to windshield wiper this back and forth. As I also said, I do have new lighting, so you might see me play around with some of the lighting on this portion of the video. I know you maybe saw me play with the lighting in the first portion of the video where I was going over the palette and the swatches. Now we're going in with text. The brush that I'm using is actually the Urban Decay brush that it came with. It's a dual-ended brush, which worked really well, surprisingly. A lot of my other Urban Decay brushes have a tendency to be really coarse and itchy, sort of, when I use it. Almost feels like it's like grating across my skin. These are actually really soft bristles, like a high-quality brush. So that was a very good plus side to this. If you need a brush on the go and you want to take this palette, granted there's only two sides, but if you use it wisely, you should be able to use both sides for whatever colors. As I said, we're going with text. I am blending this all over my lid, blending it up into my crease. Here I am taking my actual blender brush that I love from my Juvia's Place brush set. And I'm actually blending it out and softening it because we're going to layer another color or two. I have another two colors on top, sorry. I vaguely remember what I did in this video. But we're going to blend it out on the lid, blend it out up above the crease. I do like blending out my crease all the way up. Not all the way up to my brows, but quite a bit of a way up onto my brow bone, if that verbally makes any sense to anybody. Yeah, I do like to blend it quite high onto my eyes, which is also but a cool little trick if you have monolid eyes. Blending it up towards your brows helps to show that color more, what's the word I'm looking for, more vibrantly. So now we're going in the outer corner, and I would say probably about the outer third. Looks to be about the outer third of the outer corner. We're going in with Pony Up, which is this really nice smoky gray shade. Anybody that knows me knows I'm fairly biased when it comes to a palette not having a super dark brown shade or a black. my little inner emo kid just loves black, so I am mildly biased with not having a black in the palette, but it actually worked really well for a smoky effect. Now, you probably saw the look that I had when I first dipped my brush into Bud, which is, as I said, is my absolute new favorite color, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And you're gonna see me fangirling like right here, and probably for the next couple seconds of the video. The first look of like kind of disappointment was where I had dipped my brush into the color and nothing came off on the brush, and I was kind of sad. And then I realized it's like some super chunky highlighters, super glittery highlighters, super glittery eyeshadows, where sometimes there's a bit of a film in the way that it's, or not so much of a film, it's the way that it's pressed. It's pressed so hard that you sometimes have to loosen up that top little bit of layer, and then you can pack it on after that. And that was the case. So once I got it packed on, you see my reaction as me pretty much fangirling over this color, and now in my head trying to figure out where in my Disney series I can wear this color as much as possible, as well as my daily life. So now at this point we've got Bud on. I'm pretty happy with the amount. I'm pretty sure I went back in. I might have added it in this video or not. I do not remember. But now we're just going back and forth with, yeah, here's some more Bud. Now I'm just going back in with those three colors, those three last colors. I don't go back in with Spur at all. But I basically just go back and forth between Pony, Bud, and Tex, and just blend it out essentially until I'm happy with what I have. I will say there was a couple points in this where I was like, I didn't think Pony was going to really work for me for what I wanted, but it did. I will say if you want it to be a little bit darker, you're going to have to build it up. It is a sheer shade, but I did get it built up to where I wanted it to be. Now we're going to go in with my Ride or Die eyeliner, which is the Maybelline Master. I'll have it linked down below. I don't have it sitting in front of me. But it is my Ride or Die. I use it for everything. I use it as an eyeshadow base when I work with super dark colors. I've even used it as an eyeliner, or not an eyeliner. It is an eyeliner. I've used it as a lip liner before for certain photo shoot looks that I've done. So it definitely is something that I do recommend a lot of people to purchase. It's very, very well worth it. As you can see, I'm just going in with a simple little cat eye flick. I always like a winged eyeliner. Sometimes I like it big and dramatic and sharp enough to cut a bitch. And sometimes I do prefer it to be on the slightly less dramatic but still there side. So in this case, the eyeshadow look was what I wanted to be highlighted in this look, so I just did a simple little cat flick. Here is the Cowboy Rick, and this color, it's gorgeous. As you can see, it very much is a beautiful, beautiful highlight shade. However, my biggest problem was it did dust everywhere. Everywhere. I had it all over my desk, it was all over the palette. Plus side, it didn't get all over my face, so from brush to skin, it stayed where you put it, but to get it onto the brush was a rather messy experience. So if using Cowboy Rick, I do recommend using Cowboy Rick with caution. That's why I mentioned in the swatch video, if you don't like powdery shades, like if you don't like your palette to look dusty when you use it, if that is a huge no-no for you, do not get this palette. I honestly could care less what it does in the palette. I go by how it plays out on the skin, on my eyes, its wear, its tear, its longevity, its texture, things like that. So being powdery in the pan and in the palette doesn't faze me at all. Yet again, we're still building up the color, because when I put the eyeliner on, I realized even with the smallest of cat flicks with the eyeliner, Pony Up just still wasn't as dark as I wanted. So for this look, I probably would have incorporated a second palette just to have that black shade, an actual black shade. But for the tutorial, I used everything that came in the palette. I didn't want to bring in an outside palette for any of the colors. I just wanted to use everything that was in it to show that it was versatile and it could be used in its entirety without having to bring in another one. I feel Pony Up would probably work better with some of the other colors. It just wasn't dark enough, in my opinion, to work as well as I wanted it to with Bud and Tex. So here's what my palette looked like afterwards. Now here's me with some lashes. The other eye with lashes. And then I just stuck by my typical lip shade, which is just nude pencil with a nude lip gloss. Just because the eyes were so dramatic, I didn't want to do any kind of dramatic lip. I went with a very pale nude, standard, and it doesn't overpower the look. You could do a slightly more pinky nude shade if that's more of your goal. If you want to do a red shade, you can. You can do whatever look you want. Just for the purpose of the video, I stuck with my stereotypical nude shade to not overpower it. Because in this sense, the eyes were the goal. So here we are setting our face with the e.l.f. Mist Magic Matte Setting Spray. Finished it up. I'm gonna have an empties video for you all later. Here's me just being a complete goober. And thank you for watching.